And welcome to another episode of CAS Minute. Today, we're going to talk about closing tactics in the sales process. Part one of two parts. We got some feedback on LinkedIn that said, hey, we'd like to hear a little bit more on how to close a sale. It is a difficult thing to do. It's hard to know exactly when the right time to interject is, what the right methodology to use is, and generally, accountants aren't very good at it. I'll start by saying you want to avoid your prospects from knowing that you're moving towards a close. And I say that because oftentimes what can happen is you come across as that used car salesman that's pushing. Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? It can be really challenging for an accountant to walk through the steps in a really eloquent manner and then move your prospects towards the direction that you want them to go. So we're going to cover in this episode the assumptive close and the value-based close. So the importance of closing skills in CAS, you've got to continue to move your prospects through a sales process from interest to action. It's especially important given the consultative nature of what we do in CAS. So the first tactic is called the assumptive close. In this scenario, we're moving this in a conversational format, and we're trying to move the conversation forward, assuming that the client has already decided to proceed, helping them focus more on the logistics. So we're talking through the close and we're saying, hey, now that we've got all of the groundwork established, we've identified the issues, we've presented a few solutions, here's what the next steps look like. Here's when we can start. Here's what onboarding looks like. It allows the prospect to start envision what it looks like to work together and then places them in the seat of being your client. And so they're already thinking about that as a next step during the sales process. Why this works is because it removes decision friction by implying that the decision has been already made, thus creating momentum for you in the close process. So an example of an assumptive close in a CAS sales environment is, hey, we could start with your financial reporting next month. How does that sound for you? Or you could say things like, hey, we can kick off onboarding on this date and we'll have these subsequent meetings following that kickoff meeting as a next step. When can you schedule a kickoff? That conversational format of the assumptive close, I think, is really powerful in that you start to align around what the next thing is, the direction that you want to move your prospect. And we're already assuming that you've already laid out a lot of the elements of the sales process, demonstrated your value proposition, and now you're just taking it one step further. Very natural step. The second tactic I want to talk about here is the value-based close. So this is a part of a conversation where if you're a value-based pricing company or you're selling based on values, you're utilizing more of a solution selling method, which we covered in an episode a few episodes ago. You're closing based on that value. So you're reiterating the value that you've already demonstrated during the sales process and reminding the client of the gains that they will receive should you all work together. So in a CAS practice, this could look something like, with our advisory services, with a CFO embedded in your business, here's how you will see an improved cash flow management. Here's the type of data that we will equip you with, thus leading to this type of action post-decision being made based on the data that we supplied you. Now, that leads to faster growth, that leads to faster visibility, it leads to a number of outcomes that you want to focus on in this value-based close method. Why this works is because you come back to the situation of identifying ROI for the service. You're focusing on the long-term benefit rather than the close. There's a variety of clients that I've worked with and companies that I've pitched over the last number of years, several hundred, pretty easily, and not one solution works for everybody. You really have to read the client, understand where they're at, what type of close tactic that they'd respond best to, and then start moving that direction. I really like the assumptive close because it allows you to very naturally flow into that next step. We're assuming that they've already decided. So take a look, think about those different close tactics, and we're going to cover two more here in the next episode. Hope that's helpful. Till next time.